Imagine a sign announcing a sale, but the text is too small and lacks impact. Or a recipe card with a fancy font where the text is just unreadable. In projects like these, you need text to clearly communicate your message and meaning. We use text all the time in so many different places, whether you're sending a message to a client or making your next presentation for school or work. But before you dive into the tutorial and try this yourself, let's check out some examples of what's possible. In Illustrator, you can add text in a few ways. One way would be for things like this heading, a single line of text. Select the Type tool and click to start typing. Another way is if you want to add multiple lines of text, like the event details in this same flyer. Instead of just clicking, you need to drag with the Type tool so you can make an area you want your text to fill. Text you add by clicking is called point type, and text you add by dragging is called area type. But don't worry, I'm not going to test you on this later. Whether you click or drag to add text, Illustrator will automatically add some placeholder text in the box. This is called Lorem ipsum, and you may have seen it before in other apps. It's just meant to fill the space until you replace it with your own text. You might be wondering, why are there two different ways to do the same thing? Add text. Well, that's because designers use point type and area type for different purposes. For example, if I want to quickly experiment with the size of a headline, because it's point type, I can simply drag a corner of the text box with the Shift key pressed so it doesn't stretch the text, so I can try out different sizes. But if you try to resize an area type text box, the text doesn't resize, it wraps. It's a great way to resize the area your text will appear in. Now that you've added text to your project, you get to be creative with text formatting. Like other apps, Illustrator gives you lots of ways to customize the look of your text, and you can do so in the Properties panel. Picking the right font, like an Adobe font, is one of the first steps to customizing the look of your text. After choosing a font, to dial in the perfect look for your text, graphic designers use a few key formatting techniques: leading, kerning, and tracking. Leading is the space between the lines of text. More leading can make a paragraph easier to read, especially on screen. Kerning is the space between two characters, like you see here. Bringing them closer improves the spacing and can look more professional. And finally, tracking is the overall spacing in text. So like this whole heading can look more airy and elegant, or tighter to seem more serious. These are just a few of the ways to make your type stand out in everything you create. So let's recap. You can add either point or area type, depending on the needs of your design, and then format it in highly creative ways to make an impactful statement that speaks to your brand. Now it's your turn. Start this tutorial with step-by-step instructions to practice adding your own text to a project.